It's Pooh time. Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. Today it is going to be a movie review, or should I say tonight it's going to be a movie review for Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2. So there have only been one-off screenings just for today here in Sydney. Not like one or two screenings per cinema, one. And they've all been at like 6:30 or 9:30 at night. My local cinema, which is like 2 kilometers away, had one at 9:30 tonight. So I jumped on it, saw the film, and in terms of what I think about the first Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, it's god-awful, but like, not even really so bad it's good. There's nothing really good about it. Like, I get what they were going for. The whole Winnie the Pooh thing has become public domain and they tried to make a horror movie out of it, and to me it just didn't really go anywhere. But now we have a sequel that has also been directed by Rhys Frake Waterfield, aka Cody Leach's best friend. He returns to direct. He also co-edits this film. So the basic premise of Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey Part 2 is that Christopher Robin, now out of the 100 Acre Wood massacre, has now been blamed for all the deaths from the first film. So very kind of Corey Cunningham from Halloween Ends. The town see him now as a pariah. He is mocked, and at one point he loses his job at a hospital because of the events that took place in the 100 Acre Wood massacre. And again, no one believes him. No one believes that Pooh or Piglet ever existed. But in this case, we now have Pooh, Piglet, Owl, and the introduction of Tigger, which Tigger just reminds me of Freddy Krueger and Scary Terry from Rick and Morty, bitch. Now, going into this film, I had low expectations, like really, really low. And I'm really happy to report that my expectations were blown out of the water. The acting is really good. The storytelling is surprisingly really good. I never thought I'd say those two things about Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. Like, the acting is quite top notch. Now this time around we have Scott Chambers portraying Christopher Robin as opposed to a different actor from the first film, and I gotta say, this guy runs rings around the original actor from the first Blood and Honey. He goes all out in this film, and he goes to some dark places, having to relive the events of the first film, and again, being a pariah of the town. He did a great job. You've also got a great supporting cast. Again, it's weird saying shit like this, but I was actually pleasantly surprised of how much I enjoyed this film and how much fun I had with this film, knowing full well you're going into like full schlock, over the top gore, bordering on comedic gore. And in the case of the storytelling, it's really good. It's delving into the subconscious of Christopher Robin and him trying to not relive those moments in the 100 Acre Woods, but try and remember some trauma from his past when he was a kid. Again, very reminiscent of Halloween Ends, but also at the same time very reminiscent of the recent Five Nights at Freddy's film, where they are trying to remember their past and delve deep into their subconscious. All the while, you've also got Winnie the Pooh, Piglet, Owl, and Tigger terrorizing everyone. They kind of take a back seat, but at the same time, you learn more about the origins of these creatures. There were some creative choices that they took and some creative liberties that they took with some of the creatures, most notably Owl and Tigger, that I wasn't exactly a fan of. But perfect segue, the creature designs are a massive step up from the original Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. I get they got more money this time around, but this time around they are using pretty much actual silicone prosthetics from what I can see. There are some shots of Pooh where it looks a bit hokey and it looks like a mask once again from the first film, but it's essentially chalk and cheese from what we get in the first film to this film now, and especially when it comes to the design elements of Owl and Tigger. It's more form-fitting on the performers' faces, like it's actually glued down and moving with their faces. The only thing with Pooh, his costume just completely throws the whole beautiful look of the makeup off, and it essentially looks like a skinny, tall actor with a pillow stuffed in their gut. The proportions just look really weird, but I'm getting too like technical and nitty gritty with that type of shit. The runtime's 100 minutes, and it's a solid 100 minutes, and the momentum flows really well. Now, there are a lot of hokey visual effects shots in this film, and when you're going into a film like this, you need to expect that. But again, I think because the storytelling and the acting was so solid, it kind of took me out of how invested I was in these characters. Like when a head gets ripped off or limb gets ripped off, it's really like pixelated visual effects. And again, kind of just took me out of it for a second, but then you got to realize why we're here. We love the silliness. But again, there's not much silliness to be had. Like, it's really delving deep into what has happened to Christopher Robin, his past as well when he was a kid, what has happened to him and what is happening to him now and his family, and also how the town feels about him and his family. Again, it's so strange saying the words damn good acting and good storytelling. Again, it's nothing that's gonna win an Oscar, but at the same time, when you go into a film like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, your expectations are down low. But again, pleasantly surprised. The audience was responding well to what was going on screen. Like, when it comes to the violence, they have definitely upped the ante once again as opposed to the first one, which is something you definitely have to do. And it got to the point where instead of Pooh just ripping someone's head off, he has to grab whatever's near him. So he's like the horror movie version of John Wick. He just grabs a power tool and just unleashes carnage on someone's head. Now, this isn't really a spoiler. It does indeed leave the door open for a sequel, and there's the whole Poohniverse that's happening with Pinocchio and Bambi and stuff like that. So it's just silliness, like bombastic silliness that I'm all here for and want to see more of. But I definitely think Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 stands out from what could be this Poohniverse. I feel like a lot of heart has been put in this time around. Not to say that there wasn't with the first one, but there definitely is a lot more effort injected into this. The acting is top notch. The storytelling is solid as well for something that you thought would have no story whatsoever. The kills have been amplified. There were some moments of just schlockiness and some poor visual effects that took me out of it. Again, because of the solid acting and storytelling, that's why it was a distraction to me. You got a great performance from Scott Chambers, who plays Christopher Robin, who's a great replacement from Nikolai Leon, who he was just pretty plain in the first one. So yeah, guys, overall, I had too much fun with Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey Part 2, like pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly surprised again with the acting, with the storytelling. Again, there are some moments of pure hokiness that kind of just take me out of it, and just some design and creative choices that they did differently with Owl and Tigger that I wasn't exactly a fan of, and it just became a bit too much. And there is one particular scene, and it's not a spoiler, it's in one of the trailers where there's a rave scene, and there is one shot where there's a few bodies on the ground, and after the carnage that the creatures are inflicting on everyone, you figured there would just be meat everywhere, but it just looks like they just got a bunch of extras and they literally just got some fake blood. Went a little bit lazy, but fuck it, who cares, man? This was a damn good time, like a pleasantly damn good time. And with that, I'm going to be giving Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 a solid 3.5 flaming chainsaws out of 5. It's really sad that this is only getting a limited theatrical release. I think it might be having a 3-day run in the States. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, if you are over in the States. We have only got it for 1 day, and that is today, March 28th. It is gone. I don't know when it's going to hit streaming at this stage. Maybe with enough buzz and enough positive reception, this film can get another theatrical release, because I think you have to experience it in the cinemas. The audience was reacting so well to it. Even though the cinema I was in at my local cinema was a tiny little art house cinema, there was, no joke, 5 rows, and they were really nice cushy like couches. It was really cool. It was like a little lounge. But yeah, the audience was loving it. I would definitely love to see it get another theatrical run. I want to take my mace to see it this time around. It runs rings around its predecessor, so I can't wait to see what comes next. But yeah, pleasantly surprised. With that being said, guys, once you do, and if you do get a chance to check out Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2, drop a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Love you guts, and I'll catch you in the next one.